Mr. Miller, I'm so nervous. I can't. I'm gonna freak out and mess up. I'm so nervous. Would all of you please take a few deep breaths with me? 1, 2, 3. Okay, now that I'm calmed down, if you know me, you may know that I'm a dramatic person, and expressing emotions was never hard for me, no matter what emotion that is. You see, if I held in my nervousness in the beginning, I would be a mess right now. I'd be feeling like a fraud with fake confidence. There might be a perception that I'm over-dramatic, but what I want to talk about today is that the suppression of emotions is detrimental to the human experience. That's why I want to share with you about how being emotional saved my life. So enough about me. I want you all to close your eyes, and I mean really close your eyes. And I want you to raise your hand if you have ever lied about whether or not you're okay, whether that be an emotional letdown or a physical injury. And this time, please be honest. All right, I want you guys to keep those hands up, open your eyes, and look around. How do you feel? Do you feel less alone? Or maybe upset that someone else in your heart has also lied about whether or not they're okay? But that leads me to my next question. Why? Why do we lie about whether or not we're okay? Be a man. Grow up. Are you on your period? I'm sure that these are phrases that everyone has heard before, but why do we insult others for having the same emotions everyone else has when expressing those emotions can make you a better person and even save your life? I know it sounds dramatic to say that expressing negative emotions can save your life, but it's true. Bottling up negative emotions can affect your cardiovascular system. There's multiple studies by cardiologists that has proven that suppressing negative emotions can affect your oxygen flow and cause abnormal heart rhythms. Your mental health affects your physical health as well. There's a Harvard study that has proven that having optimism or a better outlook on life can improve your cardiovascular system as well. In the words of the Dalai Lama, choose to be optimistic, it feels better. When I think about optimism, I think about excitement. For example, if I study really, really hard for a test, and I'm optimistic that I'll do good, then I'm excited for that test. And I know tests aren't fun, but the amount of work I put in is the better the outcome I get. Unfortunately, some may confuse excitement with hysteria. And I think to understand this word, we need to understand the history behind this word. This word originates from the Greek word hysteria, also known as womb. It is historically referred to as a neurotic condition particular to women and thought to be caused by dysfunction of the uterus, a general sense of unhealthy excitement or emotion. For thousands of years, it was a woman's only disease, and many believed that the cure was sex or abstaining from it, according to Greek philosopher Hippocrates. In later years, women even got lobotomies for calmness. And if you guys don't know what a lobotomy is, it is basically brain mutilation. You are not the same after a lobotomy. Even now, influential women such as Vice President Kamala Harris and presidential candidate Nikki Haley get shut down by showing initiative by getting called hysterical. Was the word hysterical made up to bypass women's emotions or to disdain women for expressing themselves? Now, do any of you know this woman right here? For those who don't know, this is professional tennis player Serena Williams. But most of you may not know here is that she was also called hysterical. During a heated tennis match, Serena broke a racket, and this caused a stir-up. She was then called hysterical. Yes, we can all agree that her behavior was inappropriate, but calling a woman hysterical for having strong emotions is profoundly degrading. She was also penalized for her behavior, which men who do this as well aren't. Hysteria was also removed as a clinical term from the American Psychiatric Association because of its clear sexist connotation. Can we agree to leave the negative understanding of the word hysteria in the past? So you may be wondering, how do I cope with negative emotions? And at first, I used to wonder the same thing. In the past, I was so terrified of heartbreak that I avoided boys like the plague, until I wasn't. Although I tried preparing myself for the inevitable, nothing could prepare me for the routine change that I had to face. I know it sounds silly, a teenage girl up here talking about a heartbreak, but I've honestly learned a lot from that separation. I not only lost my favorite person at the time, I lost someone I told my secrets to, someone I ranted to, and basically all of that. And to be honest, I didn't know how to cope. I didn't eat, I cried all day, and I refused to get out of bed. Until I realized one day, I wouldn't get better until I stopped sulking. I planned as many sleepovers as I could until my calendar was filled with distractions. When I couldn't fall asleep, I turned the TV up all the way that I couldn't pay attention to anything around me but the TV in front of me. And I lied and I told my friends I was totally over it and that I was finally happy. But that one moment where my friends were busy, I couldn't listen to the TV anymore, and I was sick of the lies coming out of my mouth, I didn't know what to do. Distracting myself was the only method that helped momentarily. I loved forgetting until I was confronted with silence and forced into acceptance. So I decided to approach my healing in a different way. I was not only honest to myself, but I was honest to my friends as well. And I was surprised to see that no one was going to judge me if I was going through a rough patch. Talking to my friends and listening to them about their personal stories honestly helped a lot. And instead of planning sleepovers, I spent nights alone and I reflected on my situation. I let myself cry and release the negative emotions that I was once ignoring. I talked everyone's ear off about the situation, and when no one was there to listen, I wrote for hours. Pages and pages filled up of my feelings, disappointing emotions I faced, and the wrong decisions I made. And I appreciate all that I learned, even though at first I didn't want to express the emotions that taught me all of this. I stopped trying to change a situation I couldn't control, and I did something I thought was impossible. I found acceptance, one of the most beautiful things you can find, especially when you thought you couldn't. So, next time you feel an unpleasant emotion, don't downplay that hurt, but also make sure to express the good. Laugh until you cry until you get bloodshot eyes, and get excited over the little things, because emotions is what make us human. I want to leave you all today with a quote from my favorite movie. It's called Call Me By Your Name. In your place, if there is pain, nurse it. If there is a flame, don't snuff it out. Don't be brutal with it. We rip out so much of ourselves to be cured of things faster that we go bankrupt by the age of 30 and have less to offer each time we start with someone new. But to make yourself feel nothing, so as not to feel anything, what a waste. Being emotional has saved my life, and I hope you have a new appreciation for how it could save yours too. Thank you.